What if I told you there exists a story so forbidden, so dangerous, that most Bibles erased it from existence? A story that whispers of angels who defied heaven, descended to earth, and gave mankind secrets that would forever change the course of history. But here lies the mystery. Why did God forbid this knowledge in the first place? Why were these secrets so alluring, yet so catastrophic, that they had to be hidden from us? In the Book of Enoch, preserved only in the Ethiopian Orthodox tradition, we find the missing narrative. It tells of the Watchers, celestial beings tasked with guiding and observing humanity. But instead of guiding, they rebelled. Instead of protecting, they corrupted. These Watchers revealed knowledge that gave mankind power over nature, technology, and even each other. But every secret came with a price: corruption, chaos, and destruction. In this episode of Mystery Vault, we'll uncover the forbidden knowledge of the fallen angels, explore why God forbade it, and reveal how it reshaped humanity's path forever. And before we unlock this vault, remember, mysteries like these are rarely told in the open. Subscribe now to Mystery Vault, because what you're about to hear was meant to be buried. The descent of the Watchers. In the Book of Enoch, we are introduced to a group of angels known as the Watchers. They were not ordinary angels. These beings carried immense power, sent with a single mission to observe, to watch, and to guide humanity. But they did more than just watch. Led by their chief, Semyaza, a faction of the Watchers made a fateful choice, one that would forever change human history. Driven by desire and defiance, they descended from the heavens onto the earth. And in their rebellion, they crossed a boundary God himself had set. They took human wives. This act alone shattered the divine order. But it was only the beginning. As they integrated themselves into human lives, these fallen angels began to share knowledge. Knowledge too great, too dangerous for humanity to bear. Secrets of the universe,
The celestial
secrets of power,
patterns hold
secrets
a
meant to
wisdom
remain
that
hidden in the
transcends
heavens.
our earthly understanding.
The Book of Enoch tells us what these forbidden teachings were. The Watchers taught the art of metalworking and weapon making, how to shape the earth's metals into swords and spears. Humanity now possessed the tools of war and destruction. They revealed the secrets of enchantments and sorcery, giving men and women the ability to manipulate unseen forces, to bend reality, and to call on spirits. And they taught the mysteries of the stars and heavens. Astrology, the mapping of cosmic movements, giving humanity the illusion of controlling its own destiny. Each secret, on its own, seemed harmless, even helpful. Tools, guidance, knowledge. But together, these teachings opened doors humanity was never meant to walk through. They became weapons of pride, instruments of destruction, pathways to corruption. Humans who once lived in simplicity and dependence on God now believed they could rival divine wisdom itself. They began to dominate, deceive, and destroy, and with this knowledge came arrogance, the belief that mankind could live without God's guidance. Genesis 6:5 echoes this corruption. The Lord saw how great the wickedness of the human race had become on the earth, and that every inclination of the thoughts of the human heart was only evil all the time. The forbidden teachings of the Watchers had taken root. Sin spread like wildfire across the earth. Through weapons, sorcery, and pride, humanity spiraled into darkness. The balance between heaven and earth shattered. But here's the haunting question. What was it about this knowledge that God deemed so dangerous, that he sealed it away from us? Stay with me and subscribe to Mystery Vault, because the next part reveals why even angels were cast into chains for daring to share it. But why would God, the creator of all things, forbid certain knowledge from humanity? The Book of Enoch makes it clear. What the Watchers shared was not ordinary wisdom. It was knowledge that gave humanity the illusion of power, the illusion of control over nature, over destiny, even over one another. And illusions can be far more dangerous than truth. One of the most destructive gifts was the art of weapon making and warfare. Before the Watchers came down, humanity lived in simplicity. But once the forging of blades and armor was revealed, peace vanished. Swords divided brother from brother. Shields gave men the false confidence that they could control life and death. Blood was shed where none had been spilled before. Another forbidden teaching was the practice of enchantments and sorcery. Humanity learned to manipulate hidden forces of creation, powers they did not understand, powers never meant to serve them. Instead of trusting in God's wisdom, people were drawn into spells, charms, and rituals that opened doors to darker realms. Doors that, once opened, could never be fully closed. The Watchers also revealed the secrets of the stars and the heavens. They showed mankind how to chart the skies, how to read destinies in the movement of constellations. And though creation itself testifies to the glory of God, these teachings twisted that wonder into control. People began placing their faith in the stars rather than in their Creator. Scripture reflects these warnings. Deuteronomy forbids sorcery and divination. Isaiah rebukes those who trust in astrologers, saying they cannot even save themselves. Proverbs warns us, pride goes before destruction, a haughty spirit before a fall. This is why the knowledge was forbidden. Because humanity, unprepared and immature, could not carry such power without being corrupted by it. It was knowledge without wisdom, power without responsibility, influence without humility. God withheld these secrets not to punish us, but to protect us. For in His wisdom, He knew the human heart. He knew that pride, once inflamed, would lead not to enlightenment but to destruction. And yet, the Watchers gave it freely. And once humanity tasted it, they could not turn back. The corruption spread, pride hardened into rebellion, violence became law, and sorcery chained entire societies to darkness. What began as forbidden knowledge soon became a poison flowing through every part of human life. But God would not allow this descent into chaos to go unanswered. The judgment was coming, and it would fall not only upon humanity, but upon the angels who betrayed their place in heaven. As corruption spread across the earth, humanity spiraled deeper into violence, sorcery, and arrogance. The gifts of the Watchers had turned to poison, and mankind was choking on its own pride. God saw this descent, and His heart was grieved. Genesis tells us, "The Lord saw how great the wickedness of the human race had become, and that every inclination of the human heart was only evil all the time." The Lord regretted that He had made human beings on the earth, and His heart was deeply troubled. This was not the creation God had intended. The world had been overrun with violence, deception, and rebellion, shadows of the forbidden knowledge passed down by the Watchers. And so came the decision, not only judgment, but a cleansing, a divine reset, the great flood. It was not merely an act of destruction, it was a restoration, a return to innocence, a chance to strip away the corruption and begin again. But the flood was aimed at more than just humanity. The Book of Enoch reveals a hidden layer. Judgment fell also upon the angels who had betrayed their station. The very Watchers who had once walked among men now faced the wrath of heaven. God dispatched His most powerful messengers, Michael, Gabriel, Raphael, and Uriel, to carry out the sentence. Each had a role to play. Michael, the warrior, was commanded to bind the Watchers in everlasting chains. They were cast into the abyss, imprisoned in darkness, awaiting the final judgment. Their rebellion silenced, their corruption contained. The New Testament echoes this in Jude. And the angels who did not keep their positions of authority, but abandoned their proper dwelling. These He has kept in darkness, bound with everlasting chains until the great day. Meanwhile the floodwaters came. Torrents swallowed the earth. Cities and tribes vanished beneath the waves. What once thrived was erased, leaving only a remnant. But within this judgment, there was mercy. God preserved Noah and his family, a righteous man, blameless in his generation. Through him, humanity would survive, a remnant chosen not for power or knowledge, but for faith. The flood cleansed not just the earth, but the breach between realms. It restored the boundary the Watchers had shattered. It was heaven's way of saying this far, and no further. The story of the flood is more than a tale of wrath. It is a story of justice, a story of protection, a story of a God unwilling to let his creation be devoured by corruption. But the question remains, did humanity truly learn its lesson? Or did the forbidden knowledge of the Watchers survive the waters, waiting to rise again? The story of the Watchers is more than an ancient tale buried in the pages of the Book of Enoch. It is a timeless warning, one that echoes through every generation. The forbidden knowledge they shared did not bring light. It brought corruption. It did not bring progress. It brought arrogance, violence, and decay. Humanity, intoxicated with power, forgot humility. And in that forgetting, they drew further from God. And here lies the danger. What destroyed the world in the days of Noah is not gone. It is still with us. Technology warfare, the pursuit of power at any cost, the obsession with controlling nature, destiny, and even life itself. These temptations are still ours today. The shadows of the Watchers linger in every age. The Book of Enoch warns us that knowledge without wisdom is a trap. That power without humility corrupts. That pride leads only to destruction. Even the angels who defied heaven were not spared. The Watchers, beings of unimaginable strength, were chained in darkness, awaiting judgment. Their rebellion proves that no one, no matter how powerful, can escape the order of God. Boundaries exist for protection, not for cruelty. And yet humanity continues to test those boundaries. Proverbs tells us, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him, and he will make your path straight." But when we abandon trust for control, when we choose pride over humility, we walk the very same path the Watchers led us down, toward ruin. The lesson is clear: forbidden knowledge always comes with a price, and that price is higher than we imagine. Even Christ reflected on this truth, praising God for revealing wisdom, not to the mighty or the proud, but to the humble and childlike. For it is not secret powers or hidden knowledge that save us. It is humility, trust, and faith. The Watchers serve as a reminder that there are mysteries we were never meant to wield. That power in the wrong hands is poison. That true wisdom lies not in dominating creation, but in revering the Creator. So as we close this journey through the Book of Enoch, remember, God's boundaries are not chains, they are shields. They are protection, set not to keep us from greatness, but to preserve us from destruction. And now the question passes to you. What does this story of forbidden knowledge and divine judgment mean for us today? Did God forbid it to protect humanity from itself, or to keep us from uncovering something far darker than we could ever imagine? This is Mystery Vault. Thank you for walking with us through the shadows of the ancient world. If this story opened your eyes to hidden truths, don't forget to subscribe, share, and join us again, because tomorrow we open the vault once more, and the next secret may change how you see history forever.